You guys want to take a look at the Death Knight Glyphs real fast? Just real fast. We've got Glyph of Absorb Magic. It increases the total damage absorbed by Anti-Magic Shell by 100%. But Anti-Magic Shell no longer regenerates runic power. So it makes it a much stronger shield, but you don't get the runic power regen, so you can't like conversion off of it. Which, I don't know, that's okay, but I kind of like the runic power regen. It makes it like a offensive and defensive cooldown almost. You also have the Glyph of Anti-Magic Shell. Causes your Anti-Magic Shell to absorb all incoming magical damage up to the absorption limit, which is what I use. And that, I'm pretty sure that means it doesn't like have a duration. It's up until everything gets absorbed. So there's that, I guess. But then again, it doesn't absorb melee or physical damage, but whatever. Chains of Ice or Chains of Ice also causes 150 frost damage with additional damage depending on your attack power. So once again, you guys can tell me how that works. But this is pretty cool. It makes Chains of Ice do damage on its own. It doesn't only just apply frost here, it actually does damage. That scales off your attack power, so that's cool. So Dark Sim, that's pretty standard. Reduces the cooldown of Dark Sim by 30 seconds and increases its duration by 4 seconds. So that's normal. Death and Decay, I'm pretty sure this is already in the live servers as well. Your Death and Decay also reduces the movement speed of enemies within its radius by 50%. Standard. Death Coil, your Death Coil spell is now usable on allies. I'm pretty sure that's always been that way. When cast on a non-undead ally, Death Coil shrouds them with a protective barrier that absorbs 9k damage. That might be new, I'm not sure. I haven't gone through and looked at all the Death Knight ones, but we'll just look at all the ones that we've got for right now. Death Grip increases the range of Death Grip ability by 5 yards. Empowerment. Your Empower rune weapon also heals you for 30% of your maximum health. And that might be one that I actually used today in 2v2 skirmishes, because I don't think 2v2 skirmishes are going to go like more than 5 minutes, so it's not like a big deal to invest in a 5-minute cooldown, because you're only going to be able to use it once anyway, and it'll be a short match, so it becomes a more powerful ability that way. Glyph of Enduring Affection. Your diseases are undispellable, but their damage dealt is reduced by 15%. Ice Reaper. Reaping is now also triggered by your Chains of Ice. So, what is Reaping? That's obviously not Soul Reaper, and I don't know what that means. I might have to try it. I might have to try that out. Because if Soul Reaper is applied by Chains of Ice, that's kind of insane. But I'll check it out. Glyph of Icebound Fortitude. Reduces the cooldown of your Icebound Fortitude by 50%. Also reduces its duration by 75. And once again, you guys can tell me what this means, because I'm kind of a newbie Death Knight still. And the Reaping, I'm not sure what that is. Icy Runes. You gain an additional 10 runic power when you use Chain of Ice. That seems really cool, especially if you're trying to Chains of Ice kite somebody and trying to get conversion up the whole time. That'd be really nice. Icy Touch. Your Icy Touch dispels one helpful magic effect from the target. I use that one as well. Mind Freeze. Reduces the cooldown of your Mind Freeze ability by 1 second, but also raises its cost by 10 runic power. So, that's up to you whether you want that investment of a shorter cooldown for a higher cost. Necrotic Strike. Oh, this would have been so sick. This talent would have been awesome, but Necrotic Strike's not in the game anymore. But anyway, it would have given you 50% of all healing absorbed by Necrotic Strike heals you, so that'd be crazy. I was thinking big dot classes, big AoE pressure classes would be sick with Leech, which is a new stat in the game, which is Lifesteal. And this would be even more awesome with that. But anyway, this Necrotic Strike's not in the game anymore, so what are you going to do? Your Outbreak spell, Glyph of Outbreak, your Outbreak spell no longer has a cooldown, but now costs 30 runic power. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's actually really neat, because you can just, like, you know, throw your dots off at people, because there's no cooldown, but it just costs a lot of runic power. But that's something that might be worth doing, maybe. Then again, you know, you have Necrotic Plague, which I'll show you in the arenas, which spreads itself. It's so cool. Necrotic Plague is awesome, which kind of makes Glyph of Pestilence, or something that I'd be interested in, not as good. It says increases the radius of your Pestilence effect by 5 yards, but if Necrotic Plague is going to spread itself, you don't really need that. Raise Ally. Your Raise Ally abilities no longer cost any runic power. It's a major glyph though, so I don't know if that's really worth. But hey, there you go. If you're just dead out in the middle of nowhere, nothing to attack, and you need to res your friend, put in Raise Ally, res him up, and swap glyphs again. Maybe. Regenerative Magic. If Anti-Magic Shell expires after its full duration, the cooldown is reduced by up to 50% based on the amount of damage absorption remaining. I feel like that should be saved before, correct? If Anti-Magic Shell expires before its full duration rather than after, that might be a bug. Or it might just be a noob. Glyph of Rune Tap. Instead of granting an Absorb, Rune Tap heals you for 10% more than it would have, or 10% more than it would have absorbed. Interesting. But I'm pretty sure that's blood only. I don't think I don't think Unholy has Rune Tap. Once again, unless I'm a turbo noob, which I could be. I'm not seeing it. Okay, whatever. Runic Power. This is one that I'm going to try to use. I'm going to see how this goes. This is your I'm pretty sure this is like a built-in PvP set bonus, but you don't have that anymore. For that matter, I don't think the Death Knight PvP set bonuses are actually in the game yet. But we'll see about that. Regardless, Runic Power. Whenever you are struck by a movement impairing effect, you will generate 3 Runic Power every 1 second for 5 seconds. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna try that out because I want to see how that works with conversion. Just keeping conversion up constantly because conversion is a little bit bugged. I might even swap out one of these for the Chains of Ice just to make sure my conversion's like super strong right now. I don't know if the conversion's bugged. It's just powerful. I don't want to like be exploiting bugs in the beta. That's not what I'm trying to say. Scumbag Bajheera. Regardless, Glyph of Shifting Presences. You retain 70% of your runic power when switching presences. That's strong in general. Glyph of Strangulate increases the silence duration of your Strangulate ability by 2 seconds when used on a target who is casting a spell. So if you can use it as a lockout, it'll be a more powerful silence. Swift Death. The haste effect granted by Soul Reaper also applies to your movement speed, or also increases your movement speed by 30% for the duration. So that's kind of fun. You get to run faster if your Reap goes off, I suppose. Or I guess if you kill something, yeah. If you kill something before it's the Soul Reaper explodes, but it has Soul Reaper on, then you get a haste buff. That applies to your movement speed too. Cool. Unholy Command. Immediately finishes the cooldown of your Death Grip upon dealing a killing blow to a target that grants experience or honor. It's kind of a cool leveling talent. Just like, you know, constantly just pulling stuff and killing it. Neat. This is a blood-only Glyph of Dancing Rune Weapon. Increases your threat generation by 100% while your Dancing Rune Weapon is active, but reduces its damage dealt by 25%, so it's a threat mechanic, not really a damage mechanic. Pillar of Frost empowers your Pillar of Frost, making you immune to all effects that cause loss of control of your character, but also reduces your movement speed by 70% while the ability is active. So you become immune to all CC, except you CC yourself with a really serious slow on it. Who knows? Maybe if you plan on making a target immobile, like if you're playing like with a rogue or something, and you plan on having a nice long stun that they can't get out of, you don't need to move anyway because you're just gonna be wailing on them anyway. So there you go. Glyph of Vampiric Blood increases the bonus healing received by while your Vampiric Blood is active by an additional 15%, but your Vampiric Blood no longer grants you health. Interesting. So you're relying on external healing. It sounds like. Interesting. Minor Glyphs. All these don't usually matter that much. But Glyph of Army of the Dead, the ghouls summoned by your Army of the Dead no longer taunt their target, which is good for PvE because you can whip out your army without having to worry about, you know, pulling aggro from the tank. Corpse Explosion doesn't deal any damage, but it does teach you the Corpse Explosion ability. The corpses just go, they turn into like a little pile of like meaty chunks. Death Gate reduces the cast on your Death Gate spell by 60%. Cool. Death's Embrace. Your Death Killer refunds 20 runic power when used to heal an allied minion, but will no longer trigger Blood Tap when used this way. Okay. Might actually throw that in there. That's actually kind of nice. That's a super useful one. Foul Menagerie. Causes your Army of the Dead spell to summon an assortment of undead minions. That's kind of cool. It's only blood, though. Geist for Unholy. Your Raise Dead spell now summons a Geist instead of a Ghoul. Okay. I'll pick up that one. Who knows? Horn of Winter. When used outside of combat, your Horn of Winter ability now causes a brief localized snow flurry. Cool. Path of Frost. Your Path of Frost ability allows you to fall from a greater distance without suffering damage. Interesting. Resilient Grip. When your Death Grip ability fails because the target is immune, its cooldown is reset. I'm probably going to put that one in right now, actually. Glyph of Skeleton. Your Raised Dead summons a skeleton instead of a ghoul. And Tranquil Grip. Your Death Grip no longer taunts the target. So, lots of cool stuff. This one's for PvE as well, it looks like. But yeah, there we go. I wanted to do a quick rundown of the Death Knight Glyphs, because some of them have been changed, some of them are new. And I probably should do that for all the classes, but I wanted to go ahead and get Death Knights done because we're going to be playing Death Knights today. But anyways, there you go.